Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Nix, and are you ready to ramble? The biggest story and the best news for Enoch is that for the first time in years, Eskom has reported a profit before tax of 23.9 billion for the 2025 financial year. And that is a dramatic shift from the 25.5 billion rand loss they made last year. They saved 16.3 billion rand on reducing their reliance on expensive diesel turbines. But never mind that, load shedding days did drop from 329 almost every single day for an entire year to just 13 in 2025. Where there's a will, there's a way. And this is just one piece of evidence that the ANC could have done everything they promised since 1994. Quarter 2 GDP sits at 0.8%. The research used the word modest. I would use the word critically low, but we'll agree to disagree. And most of it, would you believe, was fueled by the reduction in load shedding. Companies don't have to pay for fuel on top of their electricity. But on top of the 12.74% increase we got anyway, and the very many futures of increases we'll pay so that Eskom can have a profit. In my research, it actually says this victory validates Enoch's strategy of tough love towards state-owned enterprises. Enoch, you need to toughen up just a little bit more, and you need to go after more of them and more aggressively, please. The Eskom news broke. Profit, first time in years. At the very same time, an article from Daily Investor appeared. Eskom's mounting municipal debt crisis, already exceeding 100 billion rand and projected to hit 300 billion by 2030, is largely out of its control as it cannot implement traditional credit controls. Seeing both articles about Eskom, it made a profit. It's doomed. Firstly, thanks for the confusion. Secondly, essentially, Eskom's profit is a once-off big man show for political, financial power. Because at the end of the day, our debt's going to be threefold in just 5 years. We need to celebrate the good news about Eskom, but we also need to remain vigilant that all of this great profit, for the first time in years, actually sits within a much larger and a much more corrupt, systematic crisis. The long-term view does not look good because our public debt sits at roughly 76% to GDP, which means 21 cents of every rand the government gets in tax revenue goes to just paying the interest on the loans South Africa has borrowed. The next two consumers of our tax revenue, government salaries and social grants. So the thing is that perhaps instead of constantly looking at us, the suffering folk, the ones who don't have personal bodyguards and blue lights and paid for properties with generators and free water and all that jazz, he could consult his fellow cadres, and in just one instance, he could have saved us 1.8 million rand. Looking at the Limpopo Dr. What. If Enoch could just consider the concept of cost reduction, there are over 300 state-owned entities and 32 ministries, which does not even include provincial and local governments and SOEs. The Limpopo provincial legislator could have saved us 1.8 million rand. Imagine what is happening in over 300 state-owned entities. So sure, 1-1 for Eskom, 299 to go, Enoch, 299 to go. Look, it must be bad in Treasury because this week an article is published stating that SARS has threatened taxpayers. Somebody reposted that article saying, I'm getting pretty tired of SARS threatening the taxpayer. They're going as far as to now set their eyes on the content creators and influencers. But very few mainstream media outlets and not one government official has spoken about the unregulated spaza shops and the unregulated taxi industry. It's really strange that the spaza shop industry and the taxi industry are two of the biggest industries in South Africa. Yet they remain unregulated and they don't pay tax. SARS is also the only SOE that doesn't comply with BEE rules. Many of you who would have watched my video. If you haven't, here it is. So after all the money the government's stolen from us, now they allocate 402 billion for transport and logistics. And I almost went through the roof when I saw this. The World Bank has backed this plan with a 1.5 billion loan approved in June 2025. Guys, the amount of loans this Mr. Cyril has been taking is our future grandchildren's problem. This is the future instability of our country sits in all of these loans. And the fact that it's going to increase our already 21% allocation of tax revenue to just the interest, never mind paying off the loans. So the key date is November 12th. That's Enoch's medium-term budget policy. Keep an eye on the media. All of the actions I see so far from Enoch, from Treasury, from the ANC, is to solve immediate problems, but creating much bigger future problems. And that really is a tradition of the ANC. They're always scrambling, always last minute. Look at the trade deal, last minute. The question is whether Enoch can use these operational gains from Eskom and move it into a political will needed for fiscal discipline. I highly doubt it, because Treasury, Enoch, the very institution that is responsible for A, enforcing fiscal discipline, and B, operating, maintaining, and coming up with fiscal discipline, appear in the top 10 list for deviations as well as contract expansions every year. So my doubts sit with valuable data. And until the ANC continue delivering on good and changing the 31 years of failed promises, our trust in you needs to be restored, and that's going to take a little bit more effort. For me, it's not about structural reform. It's about consequences. It's about changing leadership. And this is not something Cyril is known for. And without those changes, without consequence management, and without a change in leadership, things will not change. There will always be immediate wins with long-term losses when it comes to what the ANC is doing to my beautiful country. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you found this insightful. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and then drop me a comment. What do you think about SARS threatening the taxpayer? And what I'm seeing on social media, and many more of us need to be asking this question, is how do we fund through our tax what is now officially a mafia state? Because then essentially I'm funding crime. Great having you with me. Like and share this video. Let's get the message out there. Enough is enough. These little tiny wins is too little, too late. Our economy is burning. On that note, I hope you have a great day, everyone. Continue to be amazing. Over and out.